Hello, Author Nation, and hello, Reader Nation. If you are watching this, then you know the good news is out, and here it is. Look at her! Isn't she pretty? Okay, so let's talk about it because I have been ready to talk about it for a while now. As you all know, this playlist is me talking about my journey to Author Nation. But wait, I also will be assigning author at Reader Nation in this year. This year, we're going to have our very first anthology, and it is a romance anthology. So, are you aware of why I'm excited? Like, not only will I be hosting a workshop about anthologies, but I am also taking part in Reader Nation's very first romance anthology. And y'all, it's look at her. Look, just look. Let's take a moment. Look at it. Look at her. Ain't she something? Just okay. That's why I'm going. Like, that's why I was picked. Honestly, in my humble opinion, I'll never know what the powers that be were thinking when my my three pitches came in. But y'all don't understand when I say talk about the weird thing. This is literally what I was thinking in my head when I pitched my top three. Like again, I pitched I pitched inclusive writing, like inclusivity and diversity, because those are things that my foundation is very firm on, and I will always talk about those things. But y'all don't understand how significant anthologies are for me. I became a three-figure author simply from participating in anthologies. Like, it's a huge deal for me because at that point, I was happy. I was finding my groove. I was figuring out what type of author I am, what it is that I want to share with the world. And I fell in love with doing anthologies. Like, I fell in love with the whole process, the good, the bad, the what, all of that. And learning how to put together an anthology, learning how to participate in an anthology, learning my boundaries, because hello, there are boundaries everywhere, even in something like this. Like, figuring that out and being able to converse with other authors about it and being able to help new and excited and inspiring and aspiring authors decide if anthologies is something that they want to participate in is it just became like this light that I needed, because at that point I was just churning away, quietly writing stories and, sticking to my close knit group of like fellow authors because I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. And when a fellow author and friend came to me and proposed that I participate in the anthology that they were working on, I thought, oh, you know what? It's so and so. I can't say no to this person. Like, I don't know what it is about this individual. They hold too much power right now, but I couldn't say no. And I love helping and supporting other authors. And honestly, it gave me a chance to write something outside of my comfort zone. So I did it. And it was not pretty. The whole process, every time you turn around, there was a new problem, a new thing that came up that had to be resolved, and we had to pull our resources together to make it work, and work we did. And it was the first Kickstarter that I got to see behind the curtain on, and it that opened up a whole new realm for me. And so to come full circle in a way by being able to participate in this anthology for Reader Nation, and it's going to be available on Kickstarter too, is just like, I almost want to cry. Because I mean, ever since I participated in that first anthology, and by the way, the anthology that I'm talking about, there are two. So the first anthology that I participated in is Heart of the Season, an ATA anthology. And obviously, you know where you can find it. So just go there and check it out if you want. And then the next anthology, the one that the incredible Audrey Healy, the one that she asked me to take part in, it honestly shocked me because I was like, how did you know I wanted to write this? And She's like, oh yeah, I'm putting together like a cryptoid anthology. Like if you want to submit something, you can. And I was just like, girl, it's you. You know I'm gonna submit something. So that was when I participated in my first ever like cryptoid anthology. And again, The Darkest of Dreams, you know where you can find it. Just go and check it out. And writing that story was such a release for me. And it was the first time after that when I became a three-figure author. Like, I have her to thank for that because I don't think she is fully aware of how much I needed that release. And at the end of it, to see, like, I've been a three-figure author since then and just steadily growing and really strengthening my craft in that way since then has been incredible. I've clearly participated in other anthologies since then, and we're going to talk about that in a not previous, but we're going to talk about that in future videos for the journey to Author Nation. But again, I want to just touch on that first before I get into Author Nation or Reader Nation this year. But like, this is huge for me, like super huge. And the fact that there are 30 authors in this story, and if they write on average like how I wrote, I had to show remarkable restraint. Okay, this was turning into a novel. But yeah, we were given a word count, and I didn't quite adhere to the word count because these characters just kind of took off, and I couldn't decide if I wanted to write like a prologue or not. And I know, controversial take, some of y'all don't like prologues. I do. So just deal with it. I decided not to. So yay to you who don't like them. I could not. The word count kind of came in clutch because I almost submitted like 20K for this anthology. And I managed to get it down to like 12K. And then I spent the weekend getting it down to the word count that I was supposed to get it down to. It got accepted. So yeah, but there's 30 authors in this. I don't think y'all understand how thick of a book that is. That's like, we're talking 4 to 5C, like THICCCCC. Okay, it's going to be a thick book, just so we're clear. And I cannot wait. Like, I've already started, like, you know how when you're in high school and like in middle school and you want to be next to like the quote unquote popular kids, like I've already started following some of those authors just to kind of get a feel of what their story could be about, and it's really exciting. Like, I mean, I started following Willow Winters last year because I actually went to her workshop last year at Author Nation, and like I started following some of the other authors, and I'm just like, I wonder what they wrote. Like, like, okay, so this is their main trope. Maybe they submitted this. Maybe they tried something new. Like, I'm genuinely so curious and really excited to see what everyone submitted. So, like, also when they start talking about the anthology and stuff online, I can kind of see what, they share, like the snippet. Because when we submitted our story, we had to share like 2 taglines or like 2 sentences, like telling people a little bit about the story, and then like a quote, or like, yeah, I think it was like a quote from this story. So we all submitted one of those. So I'm really excited to see what everyone else did, and I'm just like geeked all the way out. So the story that I penned, pun intended, is actually titled Penned Confessions. That's P-E-N, oh Lord, I can't even spell. Penned. Penned Confessions. See, and this is why you need an editor. Okay, I can write the words, I can get the words, but sometimes I struggle with spelling them. So so the story is Penned Confessions, and it is a second chance romance set in, well, you guessed it, it's in Vegas. And essentially, my main characters were, I guess you can say, like high school, college sweethearts. And then tragedy struck, and when that happened, they went their separate ways. And the main character, the main female character, she's in Vegas. She is ready to show the author and the published community that she means business. Like, she's ready to show them that she can handle the family's legacy, which is their publishing company. And she is all business, all suits, all smiles, but on the inside, she is exhausted. She is just done. She doesn't know what to do from here. She just her purpose is to just keep going because she feels like that is what she was meant to do. I don't want to spoil it, so I had to change my words because I don't want to give y'all nothing away. But just at the height of her whole sweetheart tour, she is in a very public place and she comes across the one person that she just she didn't expect to see them there because going to author conferences is not their thing, but he also has something to prove too. That is a hint. That is a very huge hint. The title, again, is Penned Confessions. So obviously, they're going to cross paths. And she is, I mean, the weight of him, just being in his presence, it really throws her off her game. And they have to interact. They talk. Things are said, secrets are revealed, and the fallout is just, yeah, this is something definitely I haven't published something like this before, which is why I think these characters kind of are just like, let me in, coach. And I basically benched all my other whips until I can really get their stories down. So yeah, that is the first time I'm sharing Pen Confessions with anyone. I'm really excited. Like these two characters are just, oh my gosh, they're really good. I'll talk more about them on the road to Author Nation, but that's all you get for now. So make sure to follow on Insta and FB, and you know what? I might even start sharing some stuff over on the Clock app. So yeah, we'll figure it out. And also make sure you follow me on my website www.authorkmccoy.com. Because I do monthly posts there, and usually I like to share just a little something extra over there that I don't share anywhere else because I want you to come and check it out. So yeah. But now that we talked about Reader Nation, the book, let's talk about Reader Nation, the event. This is a huge event. I did it for the first time last year, and I went in with a plan and I executed a lot of things that I had planned, but there were some things that I wasn't quite aware of, or when you plan an event, you're like, oh, this will be fine because I could just do 1, 2, 3, XYZ. No, we're not doing that this year. Okay, we're not doing that. So one thing I kind of discovered when I talked about it in my previous video was you're gonna leave here with something. That's kind of my whole vibe for Reader Nation, Author Nation this year. You're gonna leave here with something. If you attend my workshop and if you attend Reader Nation and you see me, like, yeah, you're gonna leave here with something. Like you're gonna leave with this book. And I want you all to stop by my table. I would be more than happy to sign your book. And no, I'm not going to go in with my little slips because I know a lot of y'all don't like that. So I will physically be signing things. Okay. So I'm really excited about that. But yes, essentially, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at Reader Nation. Not only am I going to be at Reader Nation, I am going to be in the very first Reader Nation anthology, and it just so happens to be romance. Y'all, look at just Love Me in Vegas. It's perfect. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, you definitely want to stop by my table. But now that I've talked about that, let's talk about what my table is going to look like. Because if you've never done like an author event thing, you kind of don't know what to expect. Even though you've been to a few, you probably think, oh, well, this is easy peasy. I can figure it out. No, ask for help, call for an adult. Okay. These are some things that I've learned to prepare for in advance. And we've seen some unfortunate situations on the Clock app with people not preparing and planning for reader/author events. Trust me, you are not going to find that at Reader Nation. last year was the first year doing it. So yeah, there were a couple of bumps in the road as far as like, I think there was an issue with lunch. I personally didn't have any negative things to say about Reader Nation. I was pulling double duty for Reader Nation last year. So I literally, actually no, triple duty. Yeah. So I read a live excerpt of the new era last year on top of attending a panel, on top of having a booth. Yeah, don't ask me how I did it because I don't know. Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it. It was hard. But it was fun. I'm hoping to get an invite to another panel because that was really fun. I honestly, I would like to like moderate. Yeah, is that the word? Moderate? Yeah, I would love to moderate a panel this year. We don't know yet. We're still waiting to figure out what the itinerary looks like. But back to the table itself. So, if you're interested in being a author in an event or even a vendor, this part might be helpful to you. Find out what the table size is going to be and bring two of everything. I'm not even kidding. Bring two of everything because you might need, like, they might not provide you with the tablecloth. A lot of places nowadays is becoming the standard that they do, but what if it doesn't fit your theme? What if it doesn't fit your aesthetics? What if you want to stand out and you want, like, I mean, one of the reasons why I love this cover so much is because it really is on brand with like my actual brand colors. So what if you want something that's like your brand color? What if something happens and you're at the event and it happens to get ruined? Like either someone spills something on it or it's like it needs to be ironed. Just my rule of thumb, always plan for two, have a backup of the backup of the backup. But like the table size, make sure you know what that is prior to. And you can now, like, I've even drawn like in my actual planner, like I've drawn what it would look like, but know before you go and have two of everything. Also, the little things that you don't think about, are you going to accept cash or credit? I personally don't like touching physical money. So I'm a tap girly. Like, okay, make sure you have a backup for that too. Like, for instance, if you use PayPal or something and the like where you can use your phone, I don't like people touching my phone. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like people touching my phone. So I have my backup phone. Like I literally have an old phone that I use that still has Wi-Fi and it's a touchscreen, and that's what I hand people. Like I don't give anybody my actual phone. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Again, you have like PayPal or Square, and you can set that up that way. I'm saying this in advance because they may give you like a free like e-card reader in most cases, but often or not, you're going to want to get like the actual point of sale. You're going to want to get that POS, and the one on PayPal I think is $80. It's worth every blessed penny. So you definitely want to do that. Make sure you have that in mind. Also, Ziploc bags are like, I swear, they're like tape. Like you definitely want tape and you definitely want Ziploc bags because you might have to put little things in there, especially if you are accepting cash. Even, hold on, do I have it? I don't have it with me. I'm gonna put it in the next video. The best place to go to get all the like, at I would say it's like the administrative like supplies, like the little Ziploc bags or like the little plastic envelopes to put things in. Go to Dollar Tree. I'm not even kidding. You can spend $20 and walk away with pretty much everything you'll need. Like staples, clips, rubber bands. Again, did I mention tape? Tape, yes. Also, like those plastic portfolio folders, paper, also like envelopes, thank you cards are just perfect because if you're doing like a pre-order and people they pre-order things obviously before they get there, you can show like an additional appreciation by getting them like thank you cards, personalized things, and just it's so heaven sent. Just gift cards, gift bags, like the universal like one solid color. Like usually they're like pink or white or blue. Those thank you cards and gift bags, tissue paper, all of that stuff. You can get it from Dollar Tree. $1.25. I I can't tell you how much of my supplies, like even like the actual bag that I use to keep everything in, Dollar Tree. It's probably like $3 or $5 more. Before you even start thinking about like additional merch to give people, like to come and have them at your table, please make sure you get your office supplies together because it is a book event. You are an author and you are a business. You are a small business owner. So make sure that you have your business supplies on deck. And then, as far as like your actual books, that depends on how you want to do it. I typically bring like 2 copies of everything, and then I always have on deck my most recent book. I always have at least 4 copies of those. So right now I have A Dove's Cry, A Dove's Cry 2, The New Era, and at this point I will have Hits Keep Coming. So that's 4 books that I will definitely have with me. Plus, I am in a lot of anthologies. And this year, I plan on doing an anthology bundle because guess what? We're having our first romance anthology. So, like Cupid's Kiss and then Holiday Bliss. So, I will have those 2 there. So, that means I have 6 like books that I could bring, that I will bring. So, for the bundle, I will have 3 copies of each book. So, that's 6. And then if I have 2 copies of all the other ones, that's pretty much all you will need. Like, especially if you're a new author, it could be a risk. Like, I've seen people bring like 10 copies of every book, and that's just basic multiplication. Like, if you have 10 copies of every book and you have 6 books, that's a lot of storage that you have to worry about from here to there. I typically won't bring any more than 4 copies. And I usually bring a bonus copy. So technically, I have 4 copies for readers to purchase of all my books, plus like a 5th copy. And that's usually like for marketing purposes. So yeah, I do have like a bonus copy, and that's what I call it, like a bonus copy of not all of my books, but especially my first novel and for Cupid's Kiss, because again, anthologies are my thing. So I like to show people Cupid's Kiss, the anthology, so they get a sense of like what my work has led me to doing, which is, being a project manager for anthologies and things like that. So I always make sure I have at least like my novel and my first anthology. So I always make sure I have a bonus copy of that. So I essentially have 5 copies of those 2 books. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, how many books should I bring in this? Honestly, it depends on like the readership. And again, Reader Nation is a really big event. It is a really big event, and authors are readers too. So typically before the event opens to the public, like you'll see readers, like aka authors who like to read, you'll see them like perusing through and they're like, okay, this is where so and so is. And as soon as the gates are open, they come hit you up at your table like, okay, let me see what books you have. And it can be like a little overwhelming at first, which is why I recommend getting there as early as you can. Listen, if I could camp out, I probably would. Like, get there as early as you can. If you are not a morning person, this is the day you set all 5 alarms, because I guarantee you, you think you're early, there's someone getting there earlier. Last year, I'm telling you, and I thought I'm an early bird. Like, I typically wake up like when the sun rises is when I get up. That's just how I'm wired. And so like I remember getting down there, I'm like, oh man, they gonna be right here. I could just take my time. I'm just in the elevator, ding, get off the elevator, and I walk down, pandemonium, WWE, like everybody was trying to get in there. And I just remember everybody trying to get into the conference room. And when we get there, like that they're starting to speak to tell us like what we need to know. And people were rapid fire questioning, and you could just see like people were already like exhausted and spent. And I'm an introvert. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like, how do I keep up in spirits with this? You know how I did it? Candy. That's right. I pulled out the big guns. I had dark chocolate on hand all day. So when everyone's like, why is she so chipper? I thought she was an introvert. dark chocolate. That's literally what got me through it. This video is not sponsored by Dove, but I was fueled by Dove and ambition during Reader Nation last year. So yeah, again, you definitely want to make sure. And I know a lot of people, like, you're in Vegas, of course you want to have fun, but essentially this is my work, this is my job. So every time I go to Vegas, I treat it like work. It is my job. I can have fun when I'm done working. So Reader Nation takes place on Friday. I don't do anything Thursday night. I don't do anything Thursday night. I go to the conference, I network, and I plan and I strategize, and I'll even meet like my friends for breakfast that morning. But by 4 p.m., 4:30, I'm back in the room. I'm back in the room. I need to double check and make sure I have everything that I said that I would have. And if I don't have it, I need to like come up with a plan, pull resources, and connect with people who can help me pull this off. And I'm getting minimum 7 hours of sleep. I do not go out. And unfortunately, all of my author friends can attest to this because they have tried to get me to go out in the past. And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Have a great night. Let's do a quick recap. Things to prepare for Reader Nation. Remember, this is your job. You are an independent author, and this is your business. This is your baby. You can have fun, but you also have to make sure that you can function and have all the things so that way you're not stressed out. Go to Dollar Tree. I mean, right now, go to Dollar Tree and figure out what office supplies you need and things that may come up that you might need, depending on your plans for Author Nation. If you're going to pre order, how is that going to look? What are you going to set up? So that way you have everything in place that you need to prepare your pre orders first. Those get priority because they pre ordered. That means they gave you money for a product. I cannot stress this enough. Pre orders are precious. Treat them as such. Okay. So make sure you prep your pre orders, get your office supplies, whatever merch or add ons that you want to have at Reader Nation as an author, make sure you have them. That includes your tablecloth, your banner, business cards. You need display cases for your books. How many books are you going to bring? How many books do you have? If you have a series, Author Nation is a big event, and sometimes people want to swing for the fences. That's really cute. But in the event that you don't sell out, what does storage look like for that? Do you have a plan? Will you ship those things back home, or will you carry them on an airport? Will you drive home with them? What does your plan look like? Because I mean, you can sell out. That's, I mean, I would love that for you. You can sell out, but you have to be realistic and realize that you may not sell out. You might come really close. I came really close last year to selling out. I was shocked. So, yeah, I brought what I thought I would need and I would sell out, and I came darn close. It was really nice. So this year I'm going to bring just a little bit extra. Like, I'm going to bring 5% more product than I did last year. Because again, I am also going to have a workshop, and I'm also going to be featured in the romance anthology. So in my case, me personally, it would make sense for me to bring just a little bit more volume to the event. If you are simply an author of the event, then yes, you want to bring books. If you are, obviously, if you're more famous than I am, please bring more books. Chances of you selling out are higher. But again, you have to be realistic when planning for that. So again, get your office supplies in order from Dollar Tree. Make sure to get a good night's sleep the night before. Prioritize your pre-orders. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Pre-orders are so precious. Y'all that get pre-orders, y'all don't know how good y'all. What is it like being God's favorite, by the way? Like, to get pre-orders like that. Appreciate your pre-orders and make them a priority. And then honestly, make sure you have a plan. Like, if you are a solo author like me, maybe you can work with the author at the table next to you, or if you're sharing a table, make sure you share, like, when you're going to lunch, make sure you come back on time, rotate, so that way you're not at the table all day. And honestly, have fun. I know it sounds so cheesy, but really have fun. You've been preparing for this event all year. make the best of it. And really, when you're there, if you've done all the other things like prep and slept and figured out like how do you want to, take sales and all of that stuff, if you've done that, the having fun part is going to be so much easier to do because you're not like stressing about things. And I say this again as an introvert who is strictly business when it comes to like Author Nation, Reader Nation, it will be fun if you've done all those things. And personally, I plan on having fun. Like, I'm going to make sure that I get as many authors in the anthology to sign my book as possible. So I'm going to try to not be obnoxious with it, but I make no promises. Just know that it comes from a place of excitement and love and joy of what I do. Like, this year's Author Nation is shaping up to be phenomenal, and I am just so fortunate. And I count my blessings that I was invited to come back because I've been wanting to tell y'all about this anthology for weeks. And to finally be able to talk about it, it's just so good, so good. So, having said all that, I can't wait to see you all at Reader Nation this year. And for the next part of the road to author journey, I think it's time to start sharing some merch with y'all. So I'm going to share with you all what I have planned to bring with me to Reader Nation, and yeah, I'll give you an update on all the other things that I talked about in the first video. So as always, continue reading, continue writing, continue loving the process. This is Kim McCoy, your favorite indie author, and I am signing off. Bye.